Where we going from here, Reg?
So, Falcons, Kirk Cousins. They signed Darnell Mooney and they signed Rondell Moore. So our starting offensive skill positions should be Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Kirk Cousins, and Rondell Moore as the uh, uh, utility guy. A lot of
Let me clear up
speed.
one thing. We traded Desmond Ritter for Rondell Moore.
Mm-hmm. Straight up.
Um, yes. So number one, they got rid of the quarterback situation. I mean, the Cardinals, you got is injured. I do think that as much as I don't think that he's a starter, I do think that he is a decent, serviceable backup if
Desmond
you
Ritter.
just need like 4 games or less. Yes. Um, but shout out to Terry Fontenot putting together a wide receiver room in a couple of minutes. Like he went and got what we needed. Darnell Mooney, legitimate, wide receiver too. Rondell Moore, who I think is going to be um I
Miko
would
Hardman.
like to see him like in a CP type of role where can we get him in the backfield just a little bit, but also, let him play in the slot. Just he's a guy who's fast, and I would like to see the ball in his hands.
I do. He is fast. I do want to see the ball in his hands. I don't want to see him in the backfield. I think a lot of people are forgetting about Algier, and how good he was his rookie year, when we didn't have anything, and
Correct. 1,000-yard rusher.
and then last year he kind of got lost in the Arthur Smith shuffle of not really of Jonnu Smith getting the ball more than anybody else on our team, which is why Arthur Smith got fired, plus Desmond Ritter. So I think Algier is going to play such a vital role along with Bijan Robinson because they got to be able to run the ball to keep them from blitzing because Kirk can't move. So I want to see Rondell Moore more in the. I keep saying Miko Hardman, but because that's how I see it. I see it like maybe like jet sweeps, screens, all of that because he was super dynamic at Purdue. He just got hurt here because they didn't know how to use him in Arizona. But if they can figure out how to use him and make him kind of like a Dante Hall type guy,
Yeah.
return man, fast guy, that's a lot of
That's
speed
the
on
other
the
part.
field.
Special teams. Special teams.
A lot of speed on the field. Now I will say I think they still probably need to go get another receiver, even though they signed Cardero Hodge. I did like they brought him back. He's the other 6'4" guy. But in this lineup, you would have to play Kyle Pitts either at the Z, which is the second receiver, or you would put Mooney as the second receiver. He's only 5'10". And I see Mooney more like a Tyreek Hill type guy where you move him everywhere. So you may have to go get somebody else. But even if you don't, man, this is a lot of weapons for Kirk. There's more weapons than we've had since Matt Ryan.
And what about it? I mean, we still got the opportunity. I know it could be crazy, but
Malik Neighbors.
neighbors.
He's in every mock draft now that the quarterbacks are going up. Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunzier. Now Marvin Harrison does not make it past 3 ever.
No, no. And
Ever.
as the best player in the draft, he shouldn't be. The only reason that you don't pick him is you need a quarterback. But yeah, there's gonna be somebody who's really good at 8 that's available.
I told you, man, in all of my mock drafts, the Vikings trade up with us from 11 to 8. In my mock draft, I was able to finagle getting both of their draft picks, the 11 and the 23.
That Drake May pick is gonna be so regrettable.
Ideal situation, you trade down and get in the okay. So if you want to talk about it, in the ideal situation in my mock draft, when I traded down with Minnesota, I got the 11 and the 23rd for the 8th and my third round, one of my third round picks. So we got the 74th and 79th. I traded the first, which is our 8th, and the 79th, 4th for their 11 and their 23. I ended up still getting Neighbors because he dropped all the way there. And then at 23, Because people kept trading up for quarterbacks, and all the ends ended up still being there, the edge rushers, because they traded up for quarterbacks, and then they took Terry Arnold. There was a run on cornerbacks. So I got Neighbors, and then at 23, I got Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson is like the 4-4 version of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the 4-3 version. Chop Robinson runs a 4-4-5 and does everything that Micah Parsons did. He lines up everywhere. He's probably not as good as a middle linebacker, but he doesn't need to be. So I got those two in my scenario.
If we could get, you could get Neighbors and Chop, or I mean, I think that Neighbors, everything that I see, it looks like Neighbors has passed Odunze. I'll take Odunze in a heartbeat.
Yeah, now he drops to us every time. The only thing, the knock on him is he doesn't create a lot of separation, which is, he's like the Jason Tatum of receivers of this draft. He makes a lot of difficult catches because he doesn't get open.
Yeah,
he's just a big body. He boxes you out. Malik Neighbors gets open.
That's but the reason I don't mind that is Odunze is going to be playing against what? Wide receiver 2? I mean, maybe cornerback 2?
Maybe 3?
Yeah, that's the issue is, all right, now you got 3 bodies here. You got Drake London, who's a man. You have Ron Odunze, who's a man. And you have Kyle Pitts, who's a man. Oh, don't forget Bijan Robinson still in the backfield.
In Algier.
What? Yes. And this is my prayer. Put everybody good on the field at the same time.
At the same time.
Arthur Smith, now that's one thing. You got your Nate in there too. You got a little Nate McMillan. If you put everybody good on the field at the same time, there's not a soul that can match up with us. Especially, Tyler Algier became a decent receiving running back. Like, he can catch the ball enough. And whoever you put on him, that's worst case scenario. That's the last option. I got London over here, potentially Odunze or Neighbors on the outside there. I got Pitts running the seam. I got Bijan running into the flat, and then Algier just pass block.
Yeah, it could get ugly.